It's 7 o'clock. Time to get up, time to get up. It's 7 o'clock.
Nobody responded. The morning house lay empty, and yet the clock ticked on, repeating and repeating its sounds into the emptiness.
7-9, breakfast time, 7-9.
Now that we are seated, I have prepared 8 slices of toast, 8 eggs sunny side up, 16 slices of bacon, 2 coffees for the Mr. and Mrs., and 2 glasses of milk for the children. Enjoy.
Today is August 4th, 2026, in the city of Allendale, California.
As the morning feast stood, untouched, on the grand table, the multi-armed droid that prepared breakfast crooned its head down towards the end chair.
Miss Featherstone, given the special nature of today, would you like to request a special dinner for tonight once Mr. Featherstone returns home from work? Splendid. I'll get right on it.
Today is Mr. Featherstone's birthday. In other news, today is also the anniversary of Talida's marriage. Insurance is payable, as are the water, gas, and light bills. 8-1, tick-tock, 8-1 o'clock. Off to school, off to work, run, 8-1. It's good to get out the door bright and early to get some sun. Let's get to it now.
The darkened clouds quietly wept over the gray landscape, their tears moistening the ashen earth. The weather box on the front porch played a quiet tune. Outside, the garage chimed and lifted its door to reveal the waiting car. After a long wait, the door swung down again. In the kitchen, the droid responsible for this morning's meal cleaned what was left of it.
It would appear breakfast remained largely untouched. Eggs are shriveled and toast is stale and hard. Perhaps they were much too busy to eat this morning. Tonight's supper will mend for my error.
Once the scraps were dealt with, hot water whirled the remains down a metal throat, which digested and flushed them away to the distant sea. The dirty dishes were dropped into a hot washer and emerged twinkling dry.
$9.15, time to clean.
From out of hidden warrens within the walls, tiny robot mice darted into the living room. They thudded against chairs, whirling their mustached runners, kneading the rug naps, sucking gently at hidden dust. Then, like mysterious invaders, they scurried back into their burrows. Their pink electric eyes faded. The house was clean. The sun had finally come out from behind the rain. The house stood alone in a city of rubble and ashes. This was the one house left standing. When night fell, when the house gave no illumination, the ruined city in the distance gave off a radioactive glow which could be seen for miles. The entire west side of the house was blackened, save for 5 places. Here, the silhouette and paint of a man mowing a lawn. Here, as in a photograph, a woman bent to pick flowers. Still farther over, their images burn on wood in one titanic instant. A small boy, hands flung into the air. Higher up, the image of a girl, hands raised to catch a ball, which never came down. The 5 spots of paint, the man, the woman, the children, the ball remained. The rest was a thin, charcoaled layer.
$10.15, wake in the sprinklers, for our lawn must be clean.
On days where rain did not bless the wastelands, the water in this house was the most moisture one could find. Seldom were there any visitors. How well the house had kept its peace. At the slightest presence of movement at the front door, how carefully had it inquired.
Who goes there? What's the password?
If a sparrow brushed a window ever so slightly, the shade... No, not even a bird must touch the house. The house was an altar with 10,000 attendants. Big, small, servicing, attending, in choirs. But the gods had gone away, and the ritual of the religion continued senselessly, uselessly.
12 noon, 12 noon.
A dog whined, shivering, on the front porch.
Voice recognized. Welcome back.
But the house recognized this visitor and promptly welcomed it in. The dog, once huge and fleshy, but now gone to bone and covered with sores, moved in and through the house, tracking mud. The dog had made its way upstairs and proceeded to yelp at each door it found. At last it realized, as the house realized, that only silence was here. As the rich baked scent of pancakes and the aroma of maple syrup filled the house, the dog was drawn towards the kitchen like sacrificial flesh to an infernal god. The dog frothed at the mouth. The yearn for food turned to a forlorn lament for a dead age. And at once its eyes turned to fire. It ran wildly in circles, biting at its tail, spun in a frenzy, and died. It lay in the parlor for an hour.
Two o'clock.
Delicately sensing decay at last, the regiments of mice hummed out as softly as blown gray leaves in an electrical wind. By 2:15, the dog was gone. Deep within the cellar, the incinerator, its hellfire glowing like the eyes of evil Baal, suddenly unleashed a plague of smoke, and a whirl of sparks leaped up the chimney. Bridge tables sprouted from patio walls, and playing cards fluttered onto pads in a shower of pips. Martinis manifested on an oaken bench with egg salad sandwiches. Music played. But the tables were silent, and the cards untouched.
Four o'clock.
After a while, the tables folded like great butterflies back through the paneled walls. The nursery walls glowed. Animals took shape. Yellow giraffes, blue lions, pink antelopes, lilac panthers cavorting in crystal substance. The walls were glass. They looked out upon color and fantasy. Hidden films clocked through well-oiled sprockets, and the walls lived. The nursery floor was woven to resemble a crisp cereal meadow. Over this ran aluminum roaches and iron crickets, and in the hot, still air, butterflies of delicate red tissue wavered among the sharp aromas of animal spores. There was a sound like a great matted yellow hive of bees within the dark bellows, and the lazy bumble of a purring lion. And there was a patter of okapi feet and the murmur of a fresh jungle rain, like other hooves falling upon the summer-starched grass. Now the walls dissolved into distances of parched weed, mile on mile, and warm, endless sky. And the animals drew away into thorn breaks and water holes. It was the children's hour.
is 5:00. 8:00. Light a cigar for the mister while he talks. 9:05. It is 9:05.
Mrs. Featherstone, the beds have been made and the children are returning to their rooms. Before you go to bed, which poem would you like to end your evening on? Since you express no preference, I shall select a poem at random and generate a sufficient narration for you. Selected poem, Sarah Teasdale, There Will Come Soft Rains, published 1918. As I recall, your favorite.
There will come soft rains, and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pool singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire, and not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone. The fire burned on the stone hearth, and the cigar fell away into a mound of quiet ash on its tray. The empty chairs faced each other between the silent walls, and the music played. At 10 o'clock, the house began to die.
Breach detected at kitchen window.
When the decaying tree suddenly gave in to the elements, as all life on the outside world gave in, it took with it the pristine kitchen window and stray bottles of cleaning solvent upon the countertops, which spilt onto the still-running stove. And the house was ablaze in an instant. The house tried to save itself. Every door in the house sprang tightly shut, but the windows were broken by the heat, and the wind blew and sucked upon the fire. The house gave ground as the fire and 10 billion angry sparks moved with flaming ease from room to room and then up the stairs. The wall sprays let down showers of mechanical rain as the scurrying water rats ran towards the fire, pistoling their water and running back for more. But too late. Somewhere, sighing, a pump shrugged to a stop. The quenching rain ceased. The reserve water supply, which had filled baths and washed dishes for many quiet days, was gone. With this second wind, the fire crackled up the stairs. It fed upon Picassos and Matisses in the upper halls like delicacy, baking off the oily flesh, tenderly crisping the canvases into black shavings. From attic trap doors, blind robot faces peered down with faucet mouths, gushing green chemical. The fire backed off, as even an elephant must at the sight of a dead snake. Now there were 20 snakes whipping around the floor, killing the fire with a clear, cold venom of green froth. But the fire was clever. It had sent flame outside the house, up through the attic into the pumps there, and then... The attic brain which directed the pumps was shattered into bronze shrapnel on the beams. The fire rushed back into every closet and felt that the clothes hung there. The house shuddered, oak bone on bone, its bared skeleton cringing from the heat. Its wire, its nerves revealed as if a surgeon had torn the skin off to let the red veins and capillaries quiver in the scalded air. Voices wailed like a tragic nursery rhyme. A dozen voices, high, low, like children dying in a forest. Alone, alone, and the voices fading as the wires pop their sheathings like hot chestnuts.
System
1,
failure.
2, 3, 4, 5 voices died. In the nursery, the jungle burned. Blue lions roared, purple giraffes bounded off, and the panthers ran in circles, changing color, and 10 million animals, running before the fire, vanished off towards a distant steaming river. In the last instant under the fire avalanche, other choruses, oblivious, could be heard announcing the time, playing music, cutting along by remote control mower, or setting an umbrella frantically out and in, the slamming and opening front door, 1,000 things happening like a clock shop, when each clock strikes the hour insanely before or after the other. A scene of manic confusion yet unity, singing, screaming. The few last cleaning mice starting bravely out to carry the horrid ashes away, and one voice with sublime disregard for the situation read poetry aloud in fiery study until all the film spools burned, until all the wires withered and the circuits cracked. And Spring herself, when she woke up, the fire burst the house and let it slam flat down, puffing out skirts of spark and smoke. In the kitchen, an instant before the rain of fire and timber, the stove could be seen making breakfast at a psychopathic rate. 10 dozen eggs, 6 loaves, 20,000 bacon strips, which, eaten by fire, started the stove working again, hysterically hissing. The crash, the attic smashing into kitchen, the parlor into cellar into some sort of deep freeze armchair, film tape, Smoke and silence. A great quantity of smoke. Dawn showed faintly in the east. Among the ruins, one wall stood alone. Within the wall, a last voice said, over and over again and again, even as the sun rose to shine upon the heaped rubble and steam.
Today is August 5th, 2026. Today, 5th, 2026. Today is August 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 5th, 2026.